What if death isn't the end, but a doorway? Cutting-edge science is now exploring a radical idea that consciousness may persist beyond the physical brain. Woven into the fabric of reality itself, quantum physics reveals a universe where particles exist in multiple states, entangled across space and time, hinting that the self might not be confined to the body. Could the afterlife be a quantum phenomenon? From near-death experiences to theories like quantum immortality, scientists are daring to ask, is consciousness eternal? Dive into the mysteries where physics meets the beyond and rethink what it means to die. Beyond death, exploring the intersection of quantum physics and the afterlife. The fundamental nature of consciousness, the subjective experience of being, stands as one of the most profound and enduring mysteries in both scientific and philosophical inquiry. While advancements in neuroscience have significantly illuminated the neural correlates of mental processes, the question of how physical brain activity gives rise to subjective experience remains largely unanswered. This challenge is famously known as the hard problem of consciousness. Traditional classical physics, which describes the world through deterministic interactions of matter and energy, appears to offer no inherent mechanism to account for the qualitative, subjective nature of awareness. The limitations of classical models in addressing this profound enigma have prompted many researchers to seek alternative explanations, leading to an intriguing convergence with the principles of quantum mechanics. Quantum physics, the theoretical framework that governs the behavior of matter and energy at the smallest scales, unveils a reality that profoundly challenges everyday intuition. Unlike the predictable, deterministic world described by classical physics, the quantum realm is characterized by probabilities, inherent interconnectedness, and the peculiar influence of observation. This counterintuitive nature of quantum phenomena has positioned quantum mechanics as a fertile ground for speculative theories regarding the fundamental underpinnings of consciousness itself. The very properties that make quantum mechanics seem strange, such as particles existing in multiple states simultaneously or being instantaneously linked across vast distances, are precisely those that some theorists leverage to propose explanations for phenomena, including consciousness and its potential persistence, that classical physics cannot readily accommodate. This pursuit highlights how the inherent weirdness of quantum mechanics is reinterpreted as a feature that allows for a deeper, more interconnected understanding of reality, rather than a mere scientific anomaly. The persistent inability of classical physics to fully explain subjective experience acts as a significant scientific impetus, driving the exploration of quantum consciousness theories. The greatest mystery confronting humanity has always been the nature of death. For millennia, religions and philosophies have offered visions of an afterlife, while materialist science has maintained that consciousness ends when the brain ceases functioning. But emerging theories at the cutting edge of quantum physics are revealing startling possibilities that bridge these opposing views, suggesting that death may not be an ending, but a transformation of consciousness into another state of existence. The quantum revolution in understanding consciousness. Modern neuroscience has made tremendous progress in mapping brain functions to specific mental processes. It can observe neurons firing during thoughts, identify which regions handle emotions, and even predict decisions before conscious awareness. Yet the hard problem of consciousness, how and why physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience, remains unsolved. This gap in our understanding has led pioneering scientists to explore quantum explanations. At the subatomic level, the quantum world operates by entirely different rules than our everyday reality. Particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, become mysteriously linked across distances, change behavior when observed. These phenomena suggest that reality at its most fundamental level may be far stranger than our classical perceptions suggest. Quantum biology, the bridge between mind and matter. Groundbreaking research in quantum biology has discovered that nature already exploits quantum effects in biological systems. Photosynthesis in plants uses quantum coherence to achieve near-perfect energy transfer efficiency. Some birds navigate using quantum entanglement in their visual systems. Even our sense of smell may involve quantum vibrations. This raises the profound question: if evolution has harnessed quantum phenomena in these biological processes, Might the brain use quantum effects for consciousness? The or-core theory proposed by physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff suggests exactly this. They propose that consciousness arises from quantum vibrations in microtubules, tiny protein structures inside brain neurons. These quantum processes could account for features of consciousness that classical physics cannot explain, such as the unified nature of subjective experience, free will, and non-algorithmic decision-making. The binding of disparate sensory inputs into one coherent perception. Death is a quantum transition. If consciousness depends on quantum processes in the brain, what happens at death? According to these theories, the quantum information constituting our consciousness doesn't simply disappear. Due to the principle of quantum information conservation, analogous to the conservation of energy in physics, this information must persist in some form. Several compelling hypotheses emerge. 1. Quantum immortality, in Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation. Every quantum possibility branches into parallel universes. Your consciousness might persist in realities where you continue living, creating an unbroken chain of subjective experience. 2. Cosmic consciousness field. David Bohm's theory of the implicate order suggests all of reality emerges from a deeper, and connected quantum field. Individual consciousness could return to this fundamental matrix at death.
3.
Informational afterlife. If consciousness is essentially quantum information, it might transfer to other substrates or be read by the universe's underlying quantum code, preserving patterns of selfhood beyond biological death. Evidence from near-death experiences. Millions report profound near-death experiences, featuring common elements, life review, out-of-body perceptions, encounters with deceased loved ones, and passage through a tunnel toward light. All skeptics attribute these to neurochemical changes in a dying brain. Certain features challenge conventional explanations. Accurate perceptions from an out-of-body perspective that should be impossible visions of deceased relatives unknown to have died at the time. Life-changing psychological effects that persist for decades. Quantum theories may help explain these phenomena. The brain might act as a quantum antenna that normally filters consciousness to focus on physical reality. At death, this filter could dissolve, allowing consciousness to expand into a broader quantum reality. Scientific challenges and future directions. Major obstacles remain before these ideas gain mainstream acceptance. The decoherence problem. Can delicate quantum states persist in the warm, wet brain environment? Measurement issues. How could we detect consciousness independent of a living brain? Theoretical gaps. Precise mechanisms linking quantum processes to subjective experience remain unclear, yet research avenues are opening. Quantum biology investigations in photosynthesis and bird navigation experiments with quantum effects in microtubules. Studies of consciousness during clinical death. Quantum computing models of information preservation. Philosophical implications. These theories blur traditional boundaries between science and spirituality. They suggest that consciousness may be fundamental rather than derivative. Mind and matter are deeply interconnected. Death may involve transformation rather than annihilation. Reality may be far more mysterious than our senses perceive. As physicist Erwin Schrödinger once remarked, the total number of minds in the universe is one. Quantum consciousness theories are beginning to provide a scientific framework for this profound intuition. The horizon of understanding. We stand at the threshold of what may be humanity's greatest discovery. The true nature of consciousness and its relationship to physical reality. While much remains speculative, the convergence of quantum physics, neuroscience, and consciousness studies points toward a revolutionary understanding that death, like birth, may be a transition between states of being in an informationally rich, deeply interconnected quantum universe. The implications are staggering. If consciousness persists beyond bodily death in some form, it would represent a scientific validation of humanity's deepest intuitions about the nature of existence. As research continues, we may find that the boundary between physics and metaphysics, between science and spirituality, is far more permeable than we ever imagined.